The first thing Taeyang Kim felt was cold. His fingers tingled as sensation slowly returned to his body. His eyelids felt heavy like they were made of metal. He tried to open them, but the light was too bright. Everything hurt in a dull, distant way. "Careful," a soft voice said. "Move slowly. Your body needs time." Taeyang forced his eyes open. The room around him was white and clean. Strange machines beeped softly nearby. He was lying on a bed that felt too comfortable, too soft. Above him stood a figure that made his heart skip. She was not human. The woman was tall and thin with skin that seemed to glow with a faint blue light. Her eyes were large and golden like a cat's eyes, but filled with warmth. She had 4 fingers on each hand and her hair moved slowly as if she were underwater. But what struck Taeyang most were her eyes. They were wet with tears. "Who are you?" Taeyang tried to say, but his voice came out as a rough whisper. "My name is Lyra," the alien woman said gently. She reached for a glass of water and helped him drink. "I am a doctor. I have been taking care of you." The water felt amazing. Taeyang drank slowly, his mind racing with confusion. Where was he? What happened? He remembered being on a ship. The colony ship called Infinite Horizon. They were traveling to a new world. There were 200 people on board. His crew, his friends, "Where am I?" he asked. "Where's my crew?" Lyra's face changed. More tears filled her golden eyes. She looked away for a moment as if gathering courage to speak. "You are on a space station called Haven's Rest," she said quietly. "You are safe here. But I need to tell you something important, something difficult." Taeyang tried to sit up, but his muscles would not work properly. He felt weak as a baby. Lyra gently pressed him back down. "Please be careful," she said. "You have been asleep for a very long time. Your body is not strong yet." "How long?" Taeyang asked. Fear crept into his chest. The mission was supposed to take 5 years. "How long was I asleep?" Lyra's tears fell onto her blue cheeks. She looked directly into his eyes. "You have been in a slumber for over 30 years, she said softly. The words hit Taeyang like a physical blow. 30 years, impossible, it could not be true. The cryosleep was only supposed to last for the journey. 5 years at most. What happened? "No," he whispered. "That's wrong. Check again. The pods were set for 5 years. "I'm sorry," Lyra said. Her voice cracked with emotion. "Something went wrong with your ship. We found your pod floating in space 2 years ago. You were the only survivor we could save." "The only survivor?" Taeyang felt his world crashing down. "What about the others? What about my crew?" "There were 200 people on that ship." Lyra shook her head slowly. Her tears fell freely now. Taeyang realized something strange. She was not just sad for him. She was crying as if she had lost them too, as if their deaths hurt her personally. "The other cryopods failed," Lyra said. "We found your ship drifting in dead space. Most of the pods were already cold. Empty. Your pod was the only one still working, but barely. We brought you here and kept you alive. It took 2 years to make sure you would wake up safely." Taeyang felt numb. Everyone was gone. Captain Huang, who taught him to fly. Engineer Minho, who always made everyone laugh. Dr. Sora, who was going to start a new hospital on the colony world. All gone, dead for 30 years. "What about Earth?" he asked desperately. "Take me back to Earth. I need to go home." Lyra's face fell even more. She looked broken, as if this question hurt her most of all. "That is the other thing I must tell you," she said. "Earth went silent 15 years ago. There was some kind of disaster. A solar event, they said. We have heard nothing from your homeworld since then. No signals. No messages, nothing." Taeyang stared at the ceiling. His mind could not process this information. 30 years asleep. His crew dead. Earth silent. Everyone he knew was gone. "Everything he knew was gone. Why are you crying?" he asked Lyra. "You did not know them. You are not even human." Lyra wiped her tears with the back of her 4-fingered hand. She smiled sadly. "My people are called Velerans," she explained. "We feel what others feel. When I heal someone, I connect with their mind, their memories, their pain. I have been caring for you for 2 years. I have felt your dreams, your nightmares. I know your crew through your memories of them. I have carried their deaths in my heart so you did not have to wake up to that pain all at once." Taeyang looked at this strange, kind alien woman. She had suffered for 2 years, carrying his grief so he could survive. She cried not for herself but for him and for people she never met. "Thank you," he whispered. Lyra nodded. "You need to rest now. Your body needs more time to heal. But there are others who want to meet you. Other humans. You are not alone, Taeyang. Not completely. There are other humans here? Hope sparked in his chest. Yes, not many, but some. The galaxy is different now. 3 alien civilizations have formed something called the Galactic Cooperative. We have been searching for human survivors for many years. There are a few thousand humans left scattered across the stars. A few thousand. Out of billions. Taeyang felt the weight of it crushing him. Sleep now, Lyra said gently. Tomorrow you will meet them. Tomorrow you will learn what happened to your species. But tonight rest. You are safe here, I promise. As Lyra turned to leave, Taeyang called out weakly, Lyra, why do you care so much? Why go through all this pain for me? She turned back, her glowing skin bright in the dim room. Her golden eyes met his. Because hope is precious, she said. And every human we find alive is a piece of hope returned to the galaxy. Your species should not end like this. We will help you survive. That is a promise. She left the room quietly. Taeyang lay in the darkness, his mind spinning with grief and confusion. 30 years. Everyone gone. Earth silent, but somewhere in the dark a tiny flame of determination began to burn. If humans were still alive out there, scattered among the stars, then maybe there was still a chance. Maybe there was still something worth fighting for. He closed his eyes, and for the first time in 30 years, Taeyang Kim dreamed of tomorrow. 3 days passed before Taeyang could walk without help. His legs shook with every step, but he refused to stay in bed any longer. Lyra walked beside him, ready to catch him if he fell. They moved slowly through the white corridors of the space station. Where are we going? Taeyang asked. To meet someone, Lyra replied. Another human. I think you need to talk to your own kind. They entered a large room with windows that looked out into space. Taeyang stopped and stared. The stars looked wrong. The patterns were different. He was far from home in a part of the galaxy he did not recognize. Beautiful, is it not? A woman's voice said in Korean. Taeyang turned. A young woman sat at a table near the window. She had short black hair and wore a gray uniform he did not recognize. She stood and smiled, but the smile was sad. My name is Nari Choi, she said. I am a pilot here. It is good to meet you, Captain Kim. You know who I am? Taeyang asked. Everyone knows about you, Nari said. You are from the Infinite Horizon. One of the original 30 colony ships. You are history walking around. Taeyang sat down heavily. His legs needed rest. Lyra brought them both drinks and then stood quietly nearby. Tell me what happened, Taeyang said. I need to know everything, Nari nodded. She looked out at the stars as she spoke. Earth launched 30 colony ships between 2155 and 2158. Yours was one of the first. Each ship carried 200 people in cryosleep. The plan was to spread humanity across the galaxy, to build new homes on distant worlds. I know this part, Taeyang said impatiently. What went wrong? Everything, Nari said quietly. Most ships never reached their destinations. Some had accidents. Some were attacked by pirates. Some just vanished. Out of 30 ships and 6,000 people, we have only found survivors from 4 missions. About 3,000 humans total. 3,000. The number was so small. Taeyang felt sick. What about Earth, he asked. Lyra said there was a disaster. Nari's face became dark. 15 years ago, our sun became unstable. Scientists do not know why. There were massive solar flares, radiation storms. Earth sent out a final message warning everyone, and then the signals stopped. Every human settlement in the solar system went silent at the same time. Is anyone alive there? Taeyang asked desperately. We do not know, Nari admitted. The radiation is still too high to get close. Some people think there might be survivors in underground bunkers. Others think everyone is dead. We just do not know. Taeyang put his head in his hands. It was too much. All of humanity reduced to 3,000 refugees scattered across alien space. How old were you? He asked. When Earth went silent? 7 years old, Nari said. I barely remember blue skies. I grew up here on alien stations learning alien languages. Earth is like a dream to me now. She was so young, 22 years old now. But she had spent most of her life as a refugee. Taeyang felt ancient compared to her. Tell me about this galactic cooperative, he said. Nari's face brightened a little. That is actually good news. 3 alien species formed an alliance about 20 years ago. The Valorans, like Lyra. The Krithians, who are big warriors covered in scales. And the Theks, who are small but very smart. They built this alliance to keep peace in the galaxy. And they help humans? Taeyang asked. Yes, Lyra spoke up. When we learned what happened to Earth, the cooperative made a decision. We would search for human survivors and protect them. Your species deserves to live. Why? Taeyang asked. Why do you care? What are we to you? Lyra exchanged a look with Nari. Something passed between them, some knowledge they shared. You should know something, Nari said carefully. Humans have a reputation in the galaxy now. Other aliens fear us. Fear us. Why? There are only 3,000 of us left. Because we do not give up, Nari explained. Other species, when they face extinction, they accept it. They fade away quietly. But humans fight, we adapt. We survive no matter what. It scares them. There is a group called the Dominion, Lyra added. They are a faction of several alien races. They believe humans are too dangerous to let survive. They have been hunting human refugees, destroying abandoned human colonies. Taeyang felt anger burn in his chest. They hunt survivors? People who have already lost everything? Yes, Nari said. They think if humans survive and grow strong again, we will become a threat. They want to make sure humanity ends completely. That is evil, Taeyang said. That is fear, Lyra corrected gently. They do not understand humans. They do not see your strength as something good. They only see danger. Taeyang stood up, his legs still shaking. He walked to the window and looked out at the strange stars. So we are hunted, he said. The last 3,000 humans, scattered and weak, being hunted by aliens who want us extinct. It is not hopeless, Nari said quickly. The cooperative protects us. Commander Daehyun Park leads our military forces. We have ships and weapons. We fight back. How many human soldiers? Taeyang asked. About 200 trained fighters, Nari admitted, plus some pilots like me, and civilians who can fight if needed. 200 fighters to protect 3,000 people, against an entire faction of alien races. The odds were impossible. There is something else, Lyra said quietly. Something about you specifically? Taeyang turned to look at her. Her golden eyes were worried. Your ship, the Infinite Horizon, was carrying something important, she continued. Classified military data. Information about Earth's defensive systems, about hidden outposts, about backup plans in case of disaster. That data was encrypted and stored in the neural implants of certain crew members. Taeyang touched his head. He had a neural implant. All ship captains did. It helped them interface with their vessels. You think I have this data? He asked. We know you do, Nari said. We scanned your implant when we found you. The data is there, locked behind military encryption. But we cannot access it without your cooperation. What kind of data? What outposts? We are not sure, Lyra said. But if there are hidden human settlements that the Dominion does not know about, they could be the key to humanity's survival. Taeyang felt the weight of responsibility crash down on him. He was not just a survivor. He was carrying information that might save his entire species. The problem is, Nari continued, the Dominion knows about this data too. They have spies, informants. They know we found you. They are coming here. When? Taeyang asked. We do not know exactly. Maybe days. Maybe weeks. But they are coming. We need to extract that data from your implant before they arrive. Then do it, Taeyang said. Extract it now. Lyra shook her head sadly. It is not that simple. The encryption is tied to your memories. To access the data, you will need to relive the accident that destroyed your ship, the trauma of watching your crew die. I have been protecting you from those memories, keeping them buried so you could heal. If we dig them up, it might break your mind. Taeyang looked at both women, Nari young and determined, representing humanity's future. Lyra, alien and kind, weeping for people she never met. Both of them needed him to be strong. If that data can save human lives, he said firmly, then we extract it. I do not care about the cost. You could die, Lyra warned. I have been dead for 30 years already, Taeyang replied. If I can do something useful with whatever time I have left, then let's do it. Nari smiled. You really are from the old Earth, that stubborn human spirit. When do we start? Taeyang asked. Tomorrow, Lyra said. We need to prepare the equipment. And you need more rest. As Taeyang left the room with Lyra, he looked back at Nari standing by the window. Are you scared? He asked her. She turned to him. Every day. But fear is just a feeling. It does not control me. Taeyang nodded. Maybe there was hope after all. The Cooperative Council chamber was enormous. Taeyang stood in the center of a circular room with seats rising up on all sides. Aliens of different species watched him with curious eyes. Some looked like Lyra with glowing skin. Others were massive creatures covered in thick scales. Some were small and delicate with multiple arms. Beside Taeyang stood Lyra and Nari. In front of them was a human man in military uniform. He was older, maybe 50, with gray hair and hard eyes. He walked with confidence like a man who had seen many battles. "Captain Kim," the man said in Korean. "I am Commander Daehyun Park. I lead the human military forces in this sector. It is an honor to meet a captain from the first wave." "Commander," Taeyang replied, shaking his hand. "The council has gathered to hear about your data," Daehyun said quietly. "But first I need to brief you privately." They moved to a small room off to the side. Once the door closed, Daehyun's formal manner relaxed a bit. "How much do they know?" he asked Lyra. "Everything about Earth, the ships, the current situation," she replied. "But not about the specifics of his data yet." Daehyun nodded and turned to Taeyang. "What I am about to tell you is highly classified. Before the colony ships launched, Earth's government was paranoid. They believed humanity might face extinction, so they created a backup plan." "What kind of backup plan?" Taeyang asked. 12 hidden outposts scattered across the galaxy, Daehyun explained. Each one built in secret in locations that are nearly impossible to find. Each outpost contains thousands of people in cryosleep, along with supplies, weapons, and technology to rebuild civilization. Taeyang felt his heart race. 12 outposts? With thousands of people? Yes. If they still exist and if the people inside are still alive, we are talking about more than 50,000 humans. Enough to ensure our species survives. "That is incredible," Nari said. "Why have we not found them?" "Because nobody knows where they are," Daehyun said. "The locations were encrypted and divided among key personnel on the colony ships. Your ship, the Infinite Horizon, was one of those ships. The data in your neural implant contains coordinates to all 12 outposts." The weight of this knowledge hit Taeyang hard. He was not just carrying data. He was carrying the future of humanity itself. "Why me?" he asked. "Why was this data in my implant?" "I do not know," Daehyun admitted. "But someone on your ship made that choice. Someone trusted you with this responsibility." Taeyang thought back to his crew. Who would have put this data in his implant? Then he remembered something. His friend Minho, the ship's engineer. Minho had accessed his neural implant just before the accident, saying he needed to update the ship's command codes. Had Minho known something? "There is a problem," Lyra said. "The Dominion knows about these outposts. They have been searching for them for years. If they find them before we do, they will destroy everyone inside." "How do they know?" Taeyang asked. "Spies," Daehyun said bitterly. "There were traitors among the humans even before Earth fell. People who believed humanity deserved to die, who thought we were a disease in the galaxy. Some of them are still alive, working with the Dominion." The idea of humans helping to destroy their own species made Taeyang feel sick. "We need those coordinates now," Daehyun continued. "Our intelligence says the Dominion has narrowed down possible locations for at least 3 outposts. If they reach them first, thousands of our people will die in their sleep." "Then extract the data," Taeyang said. "What are we waiting for?" Lyra stepped forward. "The extraction process is dangerous. The data is locked behind a memory encryption. You will need to fully remember the accident on your ship, every detail, every moment. The fear, the pain, the deaths of your crew. I will need to link my mind to yours to guide you through it." "That sounds painful," Taeyang said. "It will be worse than pain," Lyra said softly. "I will experience everything you experienced. I will feel your crew die as if they were my own friends. But it is the only way." "You do not have to do this," Taeyang told her. "Find another way." "There is no other way," Lyra insisted. "And yes, I do have to do this. Your people need this information. I will not let you face those memories alone." Nari spoke up. "How long will it take?" "Hours," Lyra said. "Maybe a full day. And during that time, we will both be vulnerable. If the Dominion attacks while we are in the extraction chamber, we will not be able to defend ourselves." "Then we need to move fast," Daehyun said. "I will increase security around the medical bay. We will protect you both." Taeyang looked at these people around him. Daehyun, a commander trying to save his species with only 200 soldiers. Nari, a young pilot who barely remembered Earth. Lyra, an alien who wept for people she never met. They were all willing to risk everything for a chance at survival. "When do we start?" Taeyang asked. "Now," Lyra said. Every hour we wait is an hour the Dominion gets closer. They returned to the council chamber. Daehyun explained the situation to the gathered aliens. Many of them looked worried. Some looked excited. The leader of the council, a tall Valoran with silver skin, stood and spoke. "This is a great risk," she said. "If the Dominion learns you are attempting this extraction, they will attack this station. Many lives will be in danger." "All life is already in danger," Daehyun replied. "If humanity dies, the Dominion will not stop there. They will come for anyone they see as a threat. Today it is us. Tomorrow it could be you," the council members whispered among themselves. Finally, the silver Valoran nodded. "You have our support," she said. "We will defend this station with everything we have. Humanity will not die today." The council members stood and placed their hands over their hearts. It was a gesture of solidarity. Taeyang felt emotion well up inside him. These aliens, who had nothing to gain, were willing to fight for humanity's survival. As they left the chamber, Nari touched Taeyang's arm. "Are you ready for this?" she asked. "No," Taeyang admitted. "But when has that ever stopped a human?" She laughed. "That is the spirit. Good luck, Captain. All of humanity is counting on you." Lyra led him to the medical bay. The extraction chamber looked like a cryopod, but more complex. There were wires and machines everywhere. Lyra helped him lie down inside. "Once we start, there is no stopping," she warned. "The memories will come whether you want them or not. You must face them all. Do not try to run from them. Do not try to hide. The only way through is forward." "I understand," Taeyang said. Lyra climbed into a second chamber next to his. Their chambers connected with a bridge of wires and lights. She looked at him through the transparent walls. "I want you to know something," she said. "Whatever we see in there, whatever we experience, you are not alone. I will be with you every moment." "Why are you doing this?" Taeyang asked. "You could die. Your people are not dying out like mine. You have a future. Why risk it?" Lyra smiled, and tears filled her golden eyes again. "Because some things are worth dying for," she said simply. "Hope is one of them." The machines began to hum. Lights flashed. Taeyang felt something cold enter his veins. "Close your eyes," Lyra said. "Remember your ship. Remember the moment before everything went wrong." Taeyang closed his eyes. In his mind he saw the infinite horizon, beautiful and huge, filled with his crew, his friends, his family. They were all laughing, excited about reaching their new home. Then the alarm started, and Taeyang fell into the memory like falling into a dark well. He heard Lyra gasp as she fell with him. Together they plunged into the past, into the moment that destroyed everything. The extraction had begun. The memory hit Taeyang like a wave. Suddenly he was 30 years in the past, standing on the bridge of the infinite horizon. Everything looked exactly as he remembered. The lights on the control panels blinked steadily. Through the windows, space stretched out forever in all directions. Beside him, he felt Lyra's presence. She was not physically there, but he could sense her mind touching his, experiencing everything he experienced. "This is strange," her voice echoed in his thoughts. "I can see through your eyes. Feel what you felt." "We are in my memory," Taeyang replied. "Everything you see happened exactly like this." On the bridge, his past self sat in the captain's chair. He looked younger, more hopeful. He was checking the navigation reports when the door opened. Minho walked in, the ship's engineer. He looked worried. "Captain," Minho said. "We have a problem." "What kind of problem?" Past Taeyang asked. "I found something in the ship's systems. Someone has been tampering with the cryopod controls." Past Taeyang stood up quickly. "Tampering? What do you mean?" "Someone reprogrammed the sleep systems," Minho explained. "All the pods except yours are set to fail within the next hour. Everyone will die in their sleep." Taeyang remembered this moment. The terror he felt. The disbelief. Who would do this? Past Taeyang demanded. "I do not know," Minho said. "But I know why. Someone does not want us to reach the colony. Someone wants this mission to fail." The memory shifted. Now Taeyang was running through the corridors with Minho. They were heading to the cryopod bay, trying to fix the systems before it was too late. Alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed everywhere. "We are too late," Minho shouted. "The pods are failing now!" They reached the cryo bay. Through the windows in the pods, Taeyang could see his crew. 200 people all sleeping peacefully, unaware they were dying. The temperature displays on the pods were dropping rapidly. "Can we save them?" Past Taeyang asked desperately. Minho worked frantically at the control panel. His fingers flew over the keys, typing commands faster than Taiyang could follow. No, Minho said, tears running down his face. The system is locked. I cannot override it. They are all going to die. In the extraction chamber, Taiyang felt Lyra's grief mix with his own. She was experiencing the horror as if she were there watching these people die. This is terrible, Lyra whispered in his mind. How did you survive this? Keep watching, Taiyang replied. In the memory, Minho suddenly grabbed Taiyang's arm. Your pod is different, Minho said. Yours is on a separate system. The sabotage did not affect it. Then put someone else in my pod. Past Taiyang shouted. Save someone! There is no time. Minho yelled back. The failsafe is activated. In 30 seconds, the ship will start breaking apart to prevent the sabotage from spreading. We need to get you to your pod now or you will die too. I will not leave them, Past Taiyang screamed. But Minho was stronger. He dragged Taiyang away from the dying crew, through corridors that were already starting to shake and break. Explosions rocked the ship. Walls cracked. Air hissed out into space. Why are you doing this? Past Taiyang cried. They reached Taiyang's personal cryopod. Minho threw him inside and started activating the systems. Because you are carrying something important, Minho said quickly. I uploaded data into your neural implant 3 days ago. Coordinates, locations of hidden outposts. Thousands of humans in secret bases. If you die, that information dies with you. What? Why did you not tell me? Because there is a traitor on this ship, Minho explained. Someone working with alien extremists who want humanity extinct. I could not trust anyone except you. You are a good man, Taiyang. I know you will do the right thing when you wake up. The ship shook violently. Part of the ceiling collapsed near them. Minho, get in the pod with me. Past Taiyang begged. There is no room. The pod is designed for one person. Minho smiled sadly. Tell my family I love them. If you ever find them, no. But Minho sealed the pod. The last thing Taiyang saw was his friend's face as the cryosleep chemicals flooded the chamber. Minho stood there smiling as the ship broke apart around him. Then everything went dark. In the extraction chamber, Taiyang and Lyra both gasped. They were crying, their tears mixing with the chemicals around them. He saved you, Lyra said. He died so you could live. Yes, Taiyang replied. And I did not even know why until now. The memory shifted again. Now they were floating in space. Taiyang's pod drifted alone in the darkness. Around it floated the wreckage of the infinite horizon. Broken pieces of metal, frozen bodies and damaged pods. Everything was silent and cold. This is where we found you, Lyra said. 2 years ago. Your pod was still active, but barely. You were minutes from death. The data, Taiyang said. Can you see it now? In my implant? He felt Lyra's mind reach deeper, searching through his memories for the encrypted information Minho had uploaded. There, a stream of numbers and coordinates, locked behind layers of security. I see it, Lyra said excitedly. 12 locations, 12 outposts, and something else. Access codes, instructions for waking the people inside. They started pulling the data out, copying it, making sure every detail was captured. The coordinates flowed between their linked minds like water, but then something went wrong. Wait, Lyra said. There is something else here. Another file, hidden deeper. What is it? Taiyang asked. Lyra accessed the hidden file. Suddenly they were watching another memory. Not Taiyang's memory. This was something Minho had recorded and hidden in the data. In the recording, Minho stood in a dark room. He looked scared. If you are seeing this, then I am probably dead, recorded Minho said. And you are Taiyang waking up far in the future. I am sorry, my friend. I wish I could have saved everyone. The recording continued. The traitor on our ship is Dr. Sora, Minho said. She is working with a group that calls themselves the Dominion. They believe humanity is too dangerous to survive. They sabotaged all 30 colony ships. We were never meant to reach our destinations. But I found out in time to save you. Minho's recorded image looked directly at the camera. The outpost coordinates I gave you are not just locations. They are keys. Each outpost has a defensive system. Weapons, ships, technology that can fight back against the Dominion. If you wake those people, you will not just save humanity. You will give us the power to defend ourselves. The recording flickered. Be careful, Taiyang. The Dominion has spies everywhere. They will know you have this data. They will come for you. Trust no one except people who prove themselves through actions, not words. And remember, being human means never giving up, no matter how bad things look. The recording ended. Taeyang and Lyra floated in the darkness of the memory space, processing what they had learned. He gave you everything, Lyra said softly. Not just coordinates, but weapons. A way to fight back. We need to get out, Taeyang said. We need to tell the others. But as they tried to pull themselves out of the memory, alarms started blaring in the real world. They could hear explosions, distant and muffled. What is happening? Lyra asked. Through the walls of their extraction chambers, they heard Nari's voice shouting. They are here. The Dominion found us. They are attacking the station. Taeyang and Lyra tried to wake up, but they were trapped in the extraction process. They could not move, could not fight, could not do anything but lie helpless as the battle raged outside. We have to finish the extraction, Taeyang said. We have to get all the data. But if the station falls while we are in here, we will die, Lyra said. Then we die saving humanity, Taeyang replied. Keep pulling the data. Do not stop. They went deeper into his neural implant, grabbing every piece of information, every coordinate, every access code. Around them, they could hear weapons fire, screams, the sounds of war. But they did not stop. They kept working, pulling out humanity's last hope one bite at a time. The extraction chamber doors burst open. Taeyang gasped as the connection broke and reality came flooding back. Strong hands pulled him out of the chamber. He blinked, trying to focus. It was Nari, still in her pilot uniform, but now holding a weapon. Can you walk? She asked urgently. I think so, Taeyang said. His legs were weak, but he forced himself to stand. Lyra climbed out of her chamber, looking pale and exhausted. She had experienced everything Taeyang remembered, all the death and horror, but her golden eyes were determined. Did we get it all? Nari asked. Yes, Lyra said. All 12 coordinates. All the access codes, everything. Good, because we need to leave now, Nari said. She led them through corridors filled with smoke and flashing lights. Other aliens ran past them, some carrying weapons, some helping wounded people. Taeyang could hear explosions in the distance. What is happening? He asked. Dominion ships appeared 20 minutes ago, Nari explained. A whole fleet. They are attacking the station. Commander Daehyun is holding them off, but we cannot win this fight. There are too many of them. They reached a docking bay. A small ship sat waiting, its engines already warming up. The ship was sleek and fast-looking, painted dark gray. This is the Silent Dawn, Nari said. My ship, we are going to use it to escape. Escape where? Taeyang asked. To the first outpost, Lyra said. We must reach it before the Dominion does. They climbed aboard quickly. The ship's interior was small but efficient. Nari ran to the pilot's seat and started launching. Taeyang and Lyra strapped themselves into passenger seats. Through the ship's windows, Taeyang could see the battle raging around Haven's rest station. Dominion warships fired beams of red energy at the station's shields. Cooperative ships, smaller but faster, darted between the enemy vessels, returning fire. Where is Commander Daehyun? Taeyang asked. He is leading the defense, Nari said. She punched coordinates into the navigation system. He made a choice. Most of the fleet will stay and fight, giving us time to escape. We must reach the outpost and wake the people there. They are humanity's future. That is suicide, Taeyang said. They will die buying us time. Yes, Nari replied quietly. That is what soldiers do. The Silent Dawn launched from the station, shooting out into space. Behind them, the battle grew smaller but no less violent. Taeyang watched through the rear cameras as brave people fought and died to protect them. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. They choose this. Honor their choice by succeeding. The ship jumped into faster-than-light travel. The stars stretched into lines, and suddenly they were racing through the galaxy at impossible speeds. For hours, they traveled in tense silence. Nari piloted with intense focus. Lyra monitored the ship's systems. Taeyang sat and thought about everything he had learned. Finally, Nari spoke. Tell me about Earth. The real Earth from before everything went wrong. Taeyang smiled sadly. Why do you want to know? Because I barely remember it, Nari said. I was 7 when the signal stopped. I remember my mother's face. I remember playing in a park. But the details are fuzzy now, like a half-forgotten dream. It was beautiful, Taeyang said. Blue oceans that stretched forever. Green forests full of life. Cities with millions of people all living their lives, never thinking it could all end. Do you think anyone survived? Nari asked. On Earth, I mean. I do not know, Taeyang admitted. But humans are stubborn. If anyone could survive a solar catastrophe, it would be us. Lyra listened quietly. After a moment, she spoke. I must tell you both something. About my people. What is it? Taeyang asked. Bellerans are dying, Lyra said softly. Not quickly, but slowly. We do not have many children anymore. In a few hundred years, we will be extinct. I am sorry, Nari said. Do not be, Lyra replied. It is natural. All species end eventually. But I chose to dedicate my life to healing rather than having children. Some of my people think I am selfish. They say I should focus on preserving our own species. Why do you help humans instead? Taeyang asked. Lyra's eyes grew distant. Because when I see humans, I see something my people lost. You have fire inside you. Determination, you refuse to accept death. When I heal humans, when I help you survive, I feel like that fire touches me too. It makes me feel alive. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. 3 people from different worlds, united by hope and desperation. We are approaching the coordinates, Nari announced. They dropped out of faster-than-light travel. In front of them was an asteroid field. Thousands of rocks, from small pebbles to massive mountains, floated in the darkness. It looks empty, Nari said. It is supposed to look empty, Taeyang replied. He accessed the console, connecting his neural implant to the ship's communication system. The outpost is hidden, cloaked. I need to transmit the access code Minho gave me. He sent the signal. A string of numbers and letters beaming out into the asteroid field. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, one of the largest asteroids began to change. The rock surface shimmered and faded away like mist. Underneath was a massive space station, sleek and silver, covered with docking bays and antenna arrays. By the ancestors, Lyra whispered. It is real. They flew closer. The station was huge, easily capable of holding thousands of people. As they approached a docking bay, automated systems activated. Lights came on. Doors opened to welcome them. The silent dawn landed gently inside. The bay pressurized and they stepped out onto the station. Everything was clean and perfectly preserved. Emergency lighting gave everything a soft blue glow. The air smelled recycled but fresh. Hello? Nari called out. Her voice echoed through empty corridors. No answer. They found a main control room. Taeyang activated the central computer using his access codes. Screens lit up all around them, showing status reports. Life support active, Lyra read. Power at full capacity. Cryobase status showing 4,000 pods. All pods green status. 4,000 people, Nari said in awe. All still alive. Taeyang pulled up more information. This outpost has weapons. Defense ships. Technology I do not even recognize. Everything we need to fight back. Should we wake them? Lyra asked. Before Taeyang could answer, another screen flashed red. An alarm started beeping. What is that? Nari asked. Taeyang checked the sensor data. His blood ran cold. Dominion ships, he said. 3 of them approaching our location. They will be here in less than an hour. How did they find us so fast? Lyra demanded. They must have tracking technology we do not know about, Taeyang said. Or a spy in the cooperative gave them our destination. Nari started pacing. We cannot wake 4,000 people in an hour. The cryo-sleep revival process takes days to do safely. But we cannot leave them here, Lyra said. If the Dominion arrives, they will destroy everyone. Taeyang stared at the screens, his mind racing. They had found the first outpost, proof that humanity's backup plan had worked. But now they faced an impossible choice. Wake people and risk killing them with rapid revival, or leave them sleeping and risk the Dominion destroying them all. He thought about Minho, about Commander Daehyun, about all the people who had sacrificed themselves so he could reach this moment. We do not wake everyone, Taeyang said suddenly. We wake key people, scientists, engineers, military officers. People who can help us reach the other 11 outposts. That is smart, Nari said. How many? Maybe 50 people, Taeyang calculated. We can do rapid revival on that many without too much risk. Rapid revival is dangerous, Lyra warned. Some might not survive the process. Then we tell them the truth, Taeyang said. We wake them and give them a choice. Stay here and risk death from the Dominion, or come with us and risk death from revival complications. Lyra nodded. I can manage the medical side, but we need to choose carefully who we wake. Taeyang pulled up the outpost's personnel files. Thousands of names scrolled past. He searched for specific skills and backgrounds. Then he saw a name that made his heart stop. Dr. Ji-Won Lee, neuroscientist. Status: alive in cryo-sleep. Pod 247, Ji-Won, he whispered. Who? Nari asked. My fiancée, Taeyang said, his voice shaking. She was supposed to die on the infinite horizon. But she is here. She is alive. Lyra and Nari exchanged looks. We will wake her, Lyra said gently. I promise. Taeyang nodded, unable to speak. After 30 years of grief, believing everyone he loved was dead, suddenly there was hope. Ji-Won was alive. Asleep but alive. They had less than an hour before the Dominion arrived. But now Taeyang had something worth fighting for. Taeyang stood in front of Pod 247. Through the transparent cover, he could see Ji-Won's face. She looked exactly as he remembered. Young and peaceful, frozen in time. His hand touched the glass. We need to hurry, Nari called from across the cryobay. 40 minutes until the Dominion arrives. Lyra worked at the control panel, selecting pods for rapid revival. I am marking the key personnel now. Scientists, engineers, military specialists. Once we start the process, it will take 15 minutes per person. That is too slow, Nari said. We only have time for maybe 20 people. Then we make every person count, Taeyang said. He forced himself to look away from Ji-Won's pod and helped Lyra with the selections. They chose carefully, people with skills they desperately needed, communications experts, weapons specialists, doctors to help Lyra with the revival process, and Ji-Won, because she was a neuroscientist who could help extract data from neural implants faster than anyone else. Starting revival sequence, Lyra announced. The selected pods began to hum. Chemicals pumped through tubes. Temperature readings slowly climbed. Inside the pods, people began to stir after 30 years of sleep. Taeyang paced nervously. Each minute felt like an hour. Through the station's sensors, he could track the Dominion ships getting closer. The first pod opened with a hiss of air. A man sat up, gasping and confused. He was muscular and covered in military tattoos. Lyra rushed to help him. Easy, she said in Korean. Your body needs time to adjust. You have been asleep for over 30 years. The man stared at her alien face with shock. Then he looked around the cryobay at Taeyang and Nari. Where am I? He asked. What happened? No time for full explanations, Taeyang said. Earth is gone. Almost all humans are dead. You are in a hidden outpost and enemy ships are coming. We need you awake and ready to fight in 30 minutes. The soldier's eyes hardened. Despite his confusion, despite waking up to learn his world was dead, his training took over. What do you need me to do? He asked. More pods opened. A woman who was a communications expert. 2 engineers who specialized in defensive weapons. A pilot who had flown fighters during Earth's last wars. Each person woke to the same terrible news and each one immediately asked how they could help. This was humanity, Taeyang thought. Even broken, even scattered, they did not give up. Finally, Pod 247 opened. Ji-Won sat up slowly, her long black hair falling around her face. Her eyes opened, confused and frightened. Then she saw Taeyang. Taeyang, she whispered.
Is that you?
He rushed to her side, taking her hand. It is me. I am here. I do not understand, Ji-Won said. The ship. There was an accident. I remember getting into my pod and then nothing. Lyra placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. You are safe. But things have changed. Taeyang will explain, but right now we need your help. Over the next 20 minutes, they woke 20 people in total. Each one was briefed quickly by Nari, while Lyra made sure they were medically stable. The story was almost too terrible to believe. Earth destroyed, humanity nearly extinct, hidden outposts, a conspiracy to wipe out their species. But these people were survivors from humanity's finest. They adapted quickly. We have a problem, Nari announced. I have been running calculations. The Dominion ships will arrive in 15 minutes, but even if we get everyone on the Silent Dawn, we cannot fit 20 extra people. The ship only has life support for 5. We do not all need to leave, the soldier said. His name was Corporal Kwan. Some of us stay here and defend the station. We can hold them off while you escape with the important personnel. That is suicide, Lyra said. That is war, Kwan replied. This station has weapons, does it not? Defense systems. Yes, one of the engineers said. She had been studying the station's controls, automated turrets, shield generators, even some fighter ships. We can make them hurt. Taeyang felt sick. These people had just woken up. They had just learned their entire world was dead. And now they were volunteering to die again so others could escape. No, he said firmly. There has to be another way. Ji-won stood up, still unsteady but determined. She walked to the main control panel and started typing rapidly. There is another way, she said. We do not fight them. We do not run. We wake everyone. That is impossible, Lyra said. Rapid revival of 4,000 people would kill most of them. Not if we do it simultaneously, Ji-won argued. The revival process is slow because it is done one person at a time, carefully. But this station has a broadcast system. We can send a single massive neural pulse that wakes every sleeping brain at once. That has never been tested, Lyra protested. I know, Ji-won said. I designed the theory 30 years ago. This station was built with the technology I proposed. The survival rate would be maybe 80%. 800 people would die, but 3,000 would live. The room fell silent. 800 deaths versus 4,000. It was a terrible choice. If we wake everyone, we also have 4,000 people to defend this station, Quan pointed out. We would outnumber the Dominion force. But most of them would be civilians, Nari said. Not soldiers. Humans are stubborn, Taeyang said, remembering Minho's words. We fight even when we should not. We survive even when it seems impossible. I think 3,000 angry humans might surprise the Dominion. He looked at Ji-won. Can you really do this? Yes, she said. But I need help. Other neuroscientists. People who understand the systems. I can help, Lyra said. I understand brain patterns from my healing work. 2 other people in the group stepped forward. Both were medical researchers. We can do this in 10 minutes, Ji-won calculated. But once we start, there is no stopping it. 800 people will definitely die. Are we willing to make that choice? Taeyang thought about Commander Dae-hyun, who stayed behind to fight, about Minho, who died saving him, about every human who had sacrificed themselves so their species could survive. Yes, he said, because the alternative is 4,000 people dying in their sleep. At least this way we give them a chance to fight. Ji-won nodded. Then let us wake humanity up. They split into teams. Ji-won and Lyra worked on the broadcast system with the medical researchers. Quan and the other military personnel prepared the station's defenses. The engineers powered up weapon systems that had been sleeping for decades. Taeyang stood in the control room with Nari, watching the Dominion ships approach on sensors. 5 minutes, Nari said quietly. Are we doing the right thing? Taeyang asked. I do not know, Nari admitted. But it is very human. Choosing to fight instead of hiding. Risking everything for a chance at victory. Down in the cryo bay, Ji-won's voice came over the intercom. Broadcast system ready. Initiating mass revival in 30 seconds. Taeyang held his breath. 4,000 people were about to wake up to a nightmare. 800 of them would not survive the process. But 3,000 would open their eyes, learn their species was dying, and have to choose whether to fight or surrender. Firing neural pulse, Ji-won announced. Now. Throughout the station, every cryopod activated at once. The power systems groaned under the load. Lights flickered. 4,000 sleeping minds were suddenly shocked awake simultaneously. In the cryo bay, pods began opening. People sat up gasping and confused. Some screamed. Some cried. And some pods stayed closed, their occupants not surviving the brutal awakening. Lyra moved through the bay with her medical team, checking people, helping the disoriented, arcing the dead. Over the station's speakers, Taeyang's voice rang out in Korean, then in English, then in Mandarin. People of Earth, this is Captain Taeyang Kim. You have been asleep for over 30 years. Earth is gone. Almost all of humanity is dead. You are survivors in a hidden outpost. And in 3 minutes, enemy aliens will arrive to kill you. You can hide or you can fight. The choice is yours. But if you choose to fight, we might just save our species. He paused, then added, Welcome to the future. Welcome to the last stand of humanity. Throughout the station, confused and frightened people began moving. Some collapsed, unable to handle the shock. But others, despite their fear, despite their grief, stood up. They found weapons in the armory. They moved to defense stations. They prepared to fight for their lives. The Dominion ships arrived right on schedule. 3 massive warships, each one bristling with weapons. They moved toward the outpost confidently, expecting to find a defenseless target. Instead, the station's shields activated. Weapons turrets came online, and 3,000 humans, most of whom had just woken up from 30 years of sleep, stared at the enemy with defiance in their eyes. On the bridge of the lead Dominion ship, the commander must have been confused. The outpost should have been sleeping, helpless. Instead, it was fully active and ready for war. "This is the hidden outpost Sanctuary 1. Taiyang broadcast to the enemy ships. You came here to murder humans in their sleep. But we are awake now, and we are done running." The battle began with a flash of light as the station's weapons opened fire. The station shook as the Dominion warships returned fire. Red energy beams struck the shields, making the lights flicker. But the shields held. This outpost was built to survive, built to protect humanity's future. In the control room, Taiyang coordinated the defense. Corporal Quan commanded the weapons teams. Engineers who had been asleep minutes ago now operated systems they barely understood. But humans were adaptable. They learned fast. "Target the ship on the left," Taiyang ordered. "Focus all forward turrets on their engines." The station's weapons obeyed. Dozens of energy beams lanced out, converging on one Dominion ship. The enemy vessel's shields flared bright, then failed. Explosions rippled across its hull. "Direct hit," Nari cheered from her console. "Their engines are damaged. They are falling back." But the other two Dominion ships pressed their attack. They were larger and more powerful than anything humans had fought before. Their weapons hammered the station's shields relentlessly. "Shields at 60%, an engineer reported nervously. In the medical bay, Lyra worked frantically. The mass revival had worked, but the cost was terrible. Bodies lay in rows covered with white sheets. 800 people who did not survive the awakening. 800 more deaths added to humanity's endless tragedy. But 3,000 had survived. 3,000 humans who were now fighting for their lives. Jiwan burst into the control room. "I have been analyzing the station's database. There are fighter ships in the lower hangar. 20 small vessels built for combat. We can launch them." "We do not have pilots," Taeyang said. "Yes, we do," Jiwan insisted. "I found 12 people in the revival group who have combat flight training." "And Nari can fly." Nari stood up immediately. "I am going." "It is too dangerous," Taeyang protested. "Everything is too dangerous," Nari replied. "That has not stopped us yet." She ran toward the hangar. Other pilots followed her. These were people who had been civilians on Earth, who trained decades ago and never thought they would fly in real combat. But they did not hesitate. In the hangar, Nari climbed into a fighter ship. The controls were old Earth military design, familiar but outdated. She strapped in and powered up the engines. Around her, other pilots did the same. "All fighters, this is Nari, follow my lead. We are going to hit them fast and hard, then break away before they can target us. Stay alive and keep moving." The hangar doors opened. Space waited beyond, filled with fire and destruction. Nari took a deep breath and launched. 13 human fighters shot out of the station like angry wasps. They were small compared to the massive Dominion warships, but they were fast. They darted between the enemy ships, firing at weak points, engines, weapon ports. The Dominion ships tried to target them, but the fighters were too quick, too unpredictable. Human pilots flew with reckless courage, taking risks that made no logical sense but somehow worked. "This is impossible," one of the Dominion commanders broadcast in confusion. "These humans just woke up. How are they fighting like this?" Taeyang heard the transmission and smiled grimly. The Dominion did not understand. They never had. Humans did not need time to prepare. They did not need perfect conditions. When cornered, when desperate, humans became most dangerous. Another Dominion ship took heavy damage and began retreating. But the third ship, the largest, pressed forward. Its weapons tore through the station's shields. "Shields failing," the engineer shouted. "We have hull breaches on decks 3 and 7. Seal those sections," Taeyang ordered. "Redirect all power to forward shields." In space, Nari's fighter took a direct hit. Her ship spun wildly, systems failing. She fought with the controls trying to stabilize Nari. Taeyang yelled over the communication channel. "Eject, get out of there." "Not yet," Nari gritted out. Her fighter was dying, but she still had one weapon left, the ship itself. She aimed directly at the largest Dominion warship and pushed her engines to maximum. "For Earth," she whispered. "For humanity." Her fighter crashed into the Dominion ship's bridge. The explosion was massive. Both vessels vanished in a ball of fire. "No!" Taeyang screamed. But something incredible happened. At the last second before impact, a small escape pod shot out from Nari's fighter. It tumbled through space, beacon flashing. "I got her!" one of the other pilots shouted. "I have visual on her pod. She is alive!" Relief flooded through Taiyang. Nari had survived, and the largest Dominion ship was dead. The remaining enemy warship, already damaged, finally gave up. It turned and fled, jumping into faster-than-light travel. The battle was over. In the sudden silence, Taeyang slumped in his chair. Around him, the control room erupted in cheers. People hugged each other. Some cried. They had won. Against impossible odds, humanity had won. Lyra entered the control room. Her glowing skin was dim with exhaustion, and her golden eyes were filled with tears, but for the first time they were not tears of sorrow. She walked to Taeyang and placed her four-fingered hand on his shoulder. "You did it," she said softly. "You saved them." "We did it," Taeyang corrected. "All of us together." Jiwan appeared at his side. She looked at him with wonder. 30 years ago we said goodbye. I thought I would never see you again. And now here we are in the future, fighting aliens, saving humanity." Taeyang took her hand. "I thought I lost you forever." "You did not lose me," Jiwan said. "You just had to wait a while." Over the next hours, they began picking up the pieces. Nari's pod was recovered, and she climbed out grinning despite her injuries. The station's damage was assessed, and repair crews began working. The 3,000 survivors started to process what had happened to them. Taeyang called everyone together in the main assembly hall. 3,000 faces looked up at him. Some were young, some were old. All were confused and grieving. All had lost everyone they knew. But all were alive. "I know you have questions," Taeyang began. "I know you were scared and angry and lost. You went to sleep in one world and woke up in another. Everything you knew is gone." He paused, looking at their faces. "But we are not gone. We are here. 3,000 of us in this outpost. 3,000 more scattered across the galaxy, and 11 more hidden outposts we have not reached yet. Possibly 50,000 more humans sleeping in secret bases." Hope began to light up in their eyes. "The aliens who attacked us today, they fear humans. They fear our determination, our refusal to give up. And today we proved them right to fear us. We woke up after 30 years, learned our world was dead, and still chose to fight. That is who we are. That is what makes us human." The crowd began to murmur, energy building. "We are going to reach every outpost," Taeyang continued. "We are going to wake every sleeping human. We are going to rebuild our species. And then when we are strong enough, we are going to return to Earth. Maybe we will find survivors. Maybe we will find ruins. But either way, we will reclaim our home." The crowd erupted in cheers. 3,000 voices united in defiance and hope. Later, Taeyang stood in the observation deck with Lyra, looking out at the stars. The Silent Dawn had returned from retrieving Nari's pod. Other ships from the Cooperative were arriving, bringing supplies and support. "I have a message for you," Lyra said. "From Commander Daehyun. The battle at Haven's Rest is over." The Dominion retreated. "He survived." Relief washed over Taeyang. "How many did we lose?" "Too many," Lyra said quietly. "But fewer than we feared. The Cooperative Council is calling an emergency session. They want to formally recognize humanity as a full member species." "After we almost went extinct?" Taeyang asked. "Because you almost went extinct and survived anyway," Lyra replied. She smiled. "You humans are terrifying. Is that why you help us?" Taeyang asked. "Because we are terrifying." Lyra's smile faded. She looked out at the stars, her eyes distant. "When I first woke you," she said, "I wept because I felt the weight of your species' extinction. I carried your grief, your loss, the deaths of your crew. It was the heaviest burden I had ever felt." She turned to look at him, and tears ran down her blue cheeks again. "But now I weep because I have witnessed your resurrection. I have seen you refuse to die. I have seen you wake up to a dead world and choose to fight anyway. That is not terrifying, Taeyang. That is beautiful." She reached out and took his hand. "My species is dying slowly," she continued. "We are fading away. But you humans, you burn bright. You fight for every moment of life. When I am with you, I feel that fire too. It gives me hope that maybe endings are not always sad. Maybe sometimes they are just new beginnings." Taeyang squeezed her hand gently. "Thank you. For saving me. For believing in us. Thank you for letting me be part of your story," Lyra replied. Jiwan joined them at the window. She put her arm around Taeyang's waist. Together, the three of them looked out at the galaxy. What happens now? Jiwon asked. Now we go to the next outpost, Taeyang said. And the next one. And the next one. We wake up our people. We build our strength. We prepare for the future. And then, Jiwon pressed. Taeyang smiled. Then we go home. Back to Earth, back to where it all started. And we begin again. 6 months later, Taeyang stood in the Galactic Cooperative Council chambers. The room was filled with representatives from dozens of alien species, and for the first time it included human delegates. The Silver Velaran Council leader stood and spoke. Today we formally recognize humanity as a member species of the Galactic Cooperative.